Good morning, everyone. I'm very honored to have with me today Dr. Sasa, who is the spokesman for the National Unity Government of Myanmar and the Union Minister for International Cooperation for the National Unity Government of Myanmar. It's now been 17 months since the military seized power in Myanmar in a violent coup and began a series of brutal crackdowns all across the country on dissidents, on minority groups, and Dr. Sasa is one of the brave dissidents who are holding the flame in exile for a free Myanmar. Dr. Sasa, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
What can you tell us about the current situation, especially in your home state, in Chin State in Myanmar, and in general, what is the situation in Myanmar today?
Yeah, it's in chaos, in crisis. It's our freedom is being under massive attack by brutal, cruel military generals in Burma. As a result, in the month of May alone, more than 7,000 houses, churches, places of worship are being burned down to the ground and completely destroyed. The last 70 months alone, we have more than 20,000 houses, places of worship, churches are being burned down and destroyed. It's this indiscriminate attack by the military generals in Myanmar. It's not new. The people of Chin states and Karen state, Karenni state, the Kachin states, we have suffered this attack for the last 70 years because of we are Christians, because of we are minority. If we are one of them, they will not attack us. So we have suffered the worst form of religious persecutions or attack on our very fundamental freedom that came from Almighty God, not from the military.
Do you think that they target Christians because they see Christians as a threat to their power, as a political threat, as a threat to their ideology? What do you think drives the violence of the military against Christians and ethnic minorities?
The military generals in Burma have been using religions as weapons and race as weapons. They do not see this as a way of life. They see this as something that they can use as weapons to brutally oppress the people based on their color, based on their gender, based on their religious and race. So they have got a specific policy called protections of race and religious. That means if you are not their race, you are their enemy. If you are not their religious, you are their enemies. In that way, they try to keep themselves into their power by using religious as a weapon. So they make several movements and also state sponsor ministry called Ministry of Religious Affairs. It's all about persecutions of religious minorities in the country, and it's all about their direct attack on our freedom and our fundamental freedom. That's why the people of Myanmar have been fighting bravely for their freedom and for democracy, because democracy political system will guarantee the rights and the freedom of belief and the freedom of choice. It's really about the choice. The people should be given the freedom to choose to believe or not to believe. That is a very simple fundamental freedom that God gave us. But that has been under attack for the last 70 years. As a result, now 1.2 million people of Myanmar are being displaced and become homeless. And 14 million people of Myanmar cannot live, cannot put a food on the table for their children without humanitarian assistance. And 27 million people of Myanmar are living under poverty lines. It's all the consequence of persecutions, the consequence of the crisis instigated by the military generals in Myanmar based on race and religions. That's why we are fighting for the freedom to get into the point where people are free to choose to believe or not to believe. So we are fighting for the people of Myanmar to have their choice of freedom to hope, freedom to love, freedom to peace, freedom to stabilities, freedom to religions. It's very important. To us, is about choice. The people should be allowed to make their choice.
Dr. Sasa, for people in our audience who don't know much about Myanmar, when you say the race and the religion of the military, is that like ethnic Burmese? And what is the religion? Is it Buddhism or?
Yes, historically, Myanmar populations, more than 80% of the country populations are Buddhist faith, Buddhist religious, and some 6 to 8% are Christians. The other few percent are also Muslims and Hinduism, and people with no faith, no religious, with absolutely their freedom to choose. And so, in terms of race, Myanmar is made up of 8 major tribes across the nations, such as Bama, Chin, Kachin, Karen, Mon, Rakhine, Shan. So out of the 8 major ethnicities, ethnic group in Myanmar, 40%, more than 40% are the minority ethnicities background, and where more than 50% are Bama ethnic. In that sense, the military generals in Myanmar, for them to remain in authoritarian regime, for them to remain as tyrannic and dictators, they have been using effectively of Bama as a race, majority as weapons, and the 80% of Buddhism as weapons. If you like, politicizing religious, politicizing race, which is really, really dangerous. So that's all the military made crisis. So they made the crisis, created several crises with the intentions that it will bring it to that level that they are, going after Burmanization ethnicity, made them Burma, even if they are not, or made them Buddhization. So in that sense, they are using weapons to make that kind of Burmanizations and Buddhizations, using state-sponsored terror, I will call, under the hands of these brutal military generals in Myanmar. Example, what the world have watched in 2017 in Burma was massive genocidal attack to Rohingya brothers and sisters who are Muslim background in the kind of state of Myanmar. You see? So if those Rohingya brothers and sisters, if they are not Rohingya ethnicities, if they are not Muslim, what I can tell you is that they will never attack them. Just because of their Muslim, because of their color, because of their race, they are being attacked. Openly attacked. The whole world watched that happen. The same to Chin, Kachin, Karen, Mon, Rakhine, all of it. Rakhine are being attacked because of their race. Again, the Shan are being attacked because of their race. The same Kachin and Karen. Most importantly, we Christians, mostly from Chin, Karens are Christian majority populations in that states. So we are being attacked because of our religious. We are being attacked because of our race, What I can tell you is, if we are Burma, if we are, Buddhists, then there's a likely that they will not touch us. I mean, of course, now after what happened in 2021 last year, of this military coup attack, that's different. But what I'm saying is that the last 70 years, that genocidal attack to us has been based on race and religious.
And you yourself have quite an inspiring story, Dr. Sasa. I know from our friends at Heart that you grew up speaking only the Chin language, and then you went on to learn 5 more languages and become a medical doctor in Armenia, which is a country that's very dear to CSI and to our followers. And then you brought your skills back to Burma, to Chin State, and brought a lot of much needed medical care. People were dying of diseases that are very simple to treat, and you brought the treatment that they needed for the first time in many cases. And now, if I understand correctly, you're actually in hiding because the military views you as a threat. Why are they so threatened just by you, by a doctor from Chin State who's working to help people?
Yes, I grew up in a very remote part of Burma, and then where there's no electricity, no running water, no roads. So I saw, one day 3, my childhood friend died to diarrhea, 3 deadly diseases from the same family, and then I saw my mom's best friend, a woman dying in childbirth after 4 or 5 days of labor. Yeah. So all what I have seen in my very small village tell about everything. And the military will come and rape the woman and force labor the people in the villages, ordinary people, in front of me. And it just, they kill, they torture, they rape, and every hell that you can. Even I was too small to witness that kind of crime against humanity, because of we are Christian, because of we are Chin ethnicities. That's all about why they have come and attack us. So they try to put us down into submissions in fear. That's all what they want us to do. But I say no to all those fear and all those persecutions. And I make really strong faith and strong hope that to get to high school, as a Chin and as villagers, as a jungle boy, to go to the city was terrible. It's terrible, very terrible. And doing high school in another language, it take me 14 days to reach there. Yeah, just 14 days. It's just could have died easily, very easily. And living there where there's no my parents, I don't know the language, I don't know the culture. Everything was odd. But I think that my hope, my belief, have preserved me in many ways. That's why freedom to believe, freedom to hope is a fundamental to life. There's no question about that. I know it because I have through it. And of course, after that, all the college and the university was shut down again by the military generals because they see education as a threat to them. And that's very simple again. So the young people of Burma must be given a choice to future. They must be given the freedom to future. That is education, freedom to education. Very simple, but they are afraid of it. And so they stop all the college going. And so, of course, I came back to Chin State and served the people in my capacity as volunteer teachers. I teach, my age group people from several villages. And for 2 years, I volunteer. And I saw hopes coming. But again, of course, the military will come, persecute, forced labor, torture, rape, disease, killing our people. I cannot even begin to describe the atrocities that I have witnessed in those periods of life. And then I came to India to do college degree because all college was shut down. all this journey, I could have died very easily because this is so tough. But I would say my hope, my belief to the future kept me alive in many circumstances. That's why I truly believe that everybody in the world must be given that the freedom to choose, freedom to hope, freedom to future, freedom to education. So that became my value. That became my principles. Of course, I came to Armenia and, I have no money. My peoples, they gave me chicken and cows and pigs and everything they have, really. And it's just enough for me to get air tickets. That way I came to Armenia and all things over. That's where I met Barnes Cox from UK. That's where I met, the scholarship program from UK. That's how my relationship to UK start to, blooming. Like it's a miracles. So in that sense, of course, I have, there's so many reasons why the military are afraid of us, because they are afraid of our freedom. They are afraid of our belief. They are afraid of my hope. That's very simple. They are not afraid of my body. They are afraid of my hope. They are afraid of my belief. They are afraid of my love for my people. It's very simple. But they cannot stop it. They cannot stop it. So that's the reason why they target me. Of course, after I go back from being doctor for my people, I stay with them, I help them. So I believe there's a power in freedom. So the power of freedom has to become to realizations, not only for me, but I want to see the power of freedom being practical and realized among the young people in my country and in the world. There's a big power in there. And so, of course, that is why I was able to help my people in many ways. So the military saw everything what I have been doing, and they are afraid of it because they are the enemy of our freedom. They are enemy of our democracy. That means they are the enemy of our future. Very simple. So, yeah, I became a no to the national leaders like the Aung San Suu Kyi and our president. So, of course, last year, the 2020 general election in Myanmar, I became campaign manager for the largest party in Myanmar. And victory was a landslide in 2020 election. So I was supposed to take senior leadership at the government of Myanmar. There was to be gained 2021 to 2026 tenure, 5 years of period. And I was ready there to take the leadership, to lead my people into that future of freedom, to lead my people to free to their hope, to free to their belief, to free to have that confidence in themselves. Of course, that's what the military are afraid of us. That's why they again stage military coup, and they use battlefield weapons. They're ready to kill us. That's the reason why I have to flee from that place. Otherwise, you will not see me today. They have killed me that day itself. I think so. So I think it's a miracle that I'm still alive. But I think the military also know very well that they can kill my body, but they cannot kill my hope to free the people of Myanmar from these darknesses. So I think that is where they are afraid of.
Yeah. Well, we're very glad that you're safe, and we pray for your continued safety. Dr. Sasa, today and tomorrow is the International Ministerial for Freedom of Religion or Belief in London in the UK. And foreign ministers are here from 30 different countries around the world to talk about what they can do to promote freedom of religion. And what you've just described is a situation where people are being killed, massacred, driven out of their homes in Burma, Myanmar, because of their religious identity. What would you say to the delegates here? What would you like to see, especially the United States and the United Kingdom, do to help your people and to help make religious freedom a reality?
Freedom is the fundamental life. I would say it's not about other thing than it's about life itself. If there's no freedom, I don't see the reason to be life. I do not see the reason to be alive. So the reason that we are living is because of freedom in that sense. So UK, US, and the Westerns, democracy is all about the rights and freedom, really. So they have been defender of that right and freedom and democracy around the world. And then we look to them when it comes into, freedom being under attack. So I think freedom of Myanmar is also means freedom of US and UK and the world. Because stability and peace, prosperity, we should remember Myanmar was the rice bowl of Asia and the top exporter of food to the world. And today we are talking about food crisis. Why? Because a country like Ukraine have been attacked. The top producer of wheat, food grains, and the country like Burma have been attacked. Not because of any other thing, because they like to destroy the freedom. So I think the world, particularly international community, when we say international community, free and democratic world, must wake up that when the freedom is being attacked in one part of the world, that same freedom is being under attack in our own door, in our own home. We should remember that. Because when the freedom are being attacked, our hope to the future are being attacked, being seized. Our belief to the future economic systems, to the future, the principles, the value, all are being attacked. So it's a really, and that means our way of life, our food security are being attacked, our economic are being attacked, our transportation are being attacked. Now, if you look at Ukraine crisis, international community has responded, which they should, and we must, express in the strongest term of our solidarity with the people of Ukraine. Why? It's not about Ukrainian people. It's not about Burma people. It's about freedom. It's about federal democracy. It's about life. As I said, life without freedom is not life. It's dead in a way. It's dead. It's not going to produce any good thing from there. So let me put it this way. We desperately need US and UK and free democratic world, need to come together. They need to help the people of Ukraine. They need to help the people of Myanmar in their fight for freedom, because they are not fighting just their freedom. They're fighting the freedom of the world. They are fighting for food security. They are fighting for, all level of education security, economy security. That means that it's all the fruits of freedom, actually. So that means that, it's so important that the freedom to believe, freedom to hope, freedom to prosperity, freedom to stability, freedom to peace are being protected, promoted, respected, not only in Ukraine or in Myanmar, but all over the world. I think that is the most important part of our duty, responsibility as a free and democratic world leaders. If that is not our value, if that is not our freedom, what better value you find in this world? What better principle you have in this world? So I really hope and pray that US, UK, free and democratic world around the world will hear our voices and will do everything in their power to respect, to protect and promote the freedom and the rights of the people of Ukraine and the people of Myanmar and around the world. That is how we will have a better world where freedom are fully realized and in our life.
Amen. Thanks so much, Dr. Sasa. And God bless you and God protect you.
Thank you very much indeed, Joel, for having me.